so we'll have to keep a close eye on him as he goes up against the rookie. That is Teddy, who's impressed us here and there, mostly on the Jhin, but has had some rough performances as of late. But we'll go ahead, jump straight into the ban. It seems like the flavor of the day is this Kha'Zix ban on blue side.
Now, it's Afreeca Freecs on blue, and the meme Afreeca Freecs blue, because of course, if you don't know, that's the name of their Overwatch team. It's a very amusing one, 100% win rate on blue, have not won a game on red, and you might be like, why? Why is that? What's the difference? You know, people will talk about Olaf, the angle that, you know, Summoner's Rift has always been blue favorite, but the big story is the must ban on red side. Because Rengar, Camille, and LeBlanc are banned, Afreeca always get their pocket picks like the Olaf that you mentioned, their other high picks. For example, for Afreeca, when Kura gets Cassio, when Tucson gets Malzahar, when Olaf goes through the Spirit, they're very likely to win. These are champions that have been cornerstones of their victories, but when they're forced into rougher champion picks, they haven't been able to get it done on red side at all. Olaf so far isn't banned. Rengar will be taken. Spirit has a win on Rengar, so I cannot imagine that Jhin would leave it open. But the Kha'Zix ban shouldn't be a surprise for Afreeca. The Spirit has looked pretty objectively poor on Kha'Zix. He's been relying on Elise more so.
Oh.
Well, that's going to give him Rengar, apparently.
Okay.
That's
and
a thing you can do, I
see
guess.
a really big smile on Tucson's face. You have to think that the Rengar would just be the snatch up here, as MF is banned away.
So let's think about the only reason you'd leave up Rengar is if you have a very creative plan. You could see a team maybe trying out the Ivern into Rengar. That's been something that's been mooted in other scenes, but the Rengar will always be taken. Teams have left Rengar open against Jhin before. If you remember, Longzhu on red side didn't ban the Rengar knowing that Jhin wouldn't prioritize Rengar. Hasn't seemed to be a big pick for Umti. But this is a really big gamble because they don't even have Kha'Zix as a potential answer. They'll have to go somewhere else. They do get the Varus, which, if you remember, was first picked on blue side in our 2 games so far today.
Yeah, and combined rather with the Zyra in bottom lane, makes for pretty formidable poke that can come out. But again, very squishy, low mobility on both of them, makes them prime targets for that Rengar if he can get going.
And guys, you've seen Rengar, LeBlanc, even Camille come out in other scenes. In Korea, all 3 champions are undefeated. 2-0 LeBlanc, 1-0 LeBlanc, 2-0 Camille, 5-0 Rengar. These must-ban red side champions have not dropped a game. And it's a really, really big gamble unless you have something like the Ivern, a pre-planned comp that works against what Afreeca are putting together. Is the Ashe makes a lot of sense. The Diana blind pick does not.
Yeah, don't think we'll see that one locked in.
You're never sure with Marin, remember?
It's been quite a while since we've seen Diana, but it's actually going to be the blind pick Rumble, something that he's very confident with. We saw this very key matchup, him versus Smeb, just a couple days ago. It was a really entertaining game, so if you haven't seen that, definitely go check a VOD out after this. But
yes, the undefeated jungler versus the almost only defeated jungler.
Right.
But one thing I wanted to mention that won't be relevant in this draft is that Spirit has been playing a lot of jungle Rumble, and Marin and Smeb are the only people that blind pick that top lane. So the Rumble in a future game might actually serve as a flex pick. With Rengar, we don't expect it this game. With Rengar, we don't expect it this game. I think it'll come in the future. I'd be concerned if Cassio went over to Afreeca, but Kuzan is also a big Cassiopeia player as well. So given that one team's going to have to blind pick their mid laner, I think Cassio will have to be accounted for on one side of the draft because I think it'll be first picked in the next rotation. If it isn't, it will be taken by Afreeca Freecs.
Well, Maokai banned away by Afreeca. So pinching down on that top lane pool here for Ixu. We know that he's very comfortable with the Poppy.
He's also very comfortable selecting the Kled. Winning with it, that's been a problem, but selecting it, he is brazen in picking it up.
I don't know if you want to run the... Okay. That's interesting. I was going to say, I don't know if you want to run the Kled into a Rumble, but Jace banned away after top lane's already been selected for Marin.
The biggest question mark for Afreeca Freecs has been Kuro in the mid lane. 2-0 Cassiopeia, played a lot of Orianna and looked good on it situationally when the comp made sense, but after that, 0-1 on Rice, Cat, and Jason, all those performances were poor, and that's kind of sugarcoating. That's Caster speaking. He had some really rough games. The Katarina game in particular was a stinker. So getting him on Cassiopeia, probably his most comfortable champ now that Victor seems to be forced out of the meta for Kuro at least, would be big. I think this is a really, really big gamble. It feels like Jhin are just giving Afreeca everything they want.
Yeah,
If they get Cassiopeia, I guess Poppy or Cassiopeia, I got Rumble already, so Cassiopeia and then a support, I think they're going to be very, very happy with the Freecs. Alzahar was the big pick for Tucson, but they banned it on blue side. We did see Gorilla running the Nami to some great success. It is a pick champion, even though it has some sustain to get through laning phase as well.
Well, they will go ahead and lock that in for the Ashe, so a lot of harass. I mean, guaranteed Ashe arrow if that bubble comes through, or vice versa.
You have to think that Cassiopeia will be drafted given Kuro's champion pool, but anything else would be a really big learning point for us. So let's see where they're going to go for Kuro. We'll be blind picking. Almost certain that Jin Air are going to be selecting their mid laner last, given that Varus is almost exclusively an AD carry. They do have the Rengar, who's a good ball carrier, and Kuro has been defaulting to Orianna recently, but very safe pick in terms of the Ori. Very surprising that he's not confident enough to take the Cassiopeia, given that it's been his highest level of performance, and it's a pretty good blocker pick into something like a Taliyah. If you remember, a lot of those Taliyah drafts were after Cassiopeia was banned in the second part of the 10 bans. This is a pretty free laning phase for Taliyah.
Yep, we'll go ahead and lock this one in. So a lot of harass going to be coming out of Taliyah with that threaded volley. Can clear waves fairly quickly.
This is one of those games where I like double check all 10 champions at the bottom. Like, none of those Cassiopeia, no. Very strange to see it completely go through picks and bans. Given the mid lane talent here, both Kuro and Kuzan, you could argue in 2017, their best pick is Cassie.
And it's just odd that Jin Air would go through all this weird draft to give up the Rengar.
Yeah, you said
and then not take something a bit new. You know, we thought maybe they had this new pick that they're going to bring out, kind of surprises with, try to throw a Freecs off, but it's pretty standard across the board from them.
I think apart from KT, teams in Korea seem slow to pick up on how strong double AD with Corki mid and Ivern in the jungle is. It's very, very oppressive. If you fall behind, you always lose. But that's a point for another day. It's not drafted. I thought maybe Jin Air would go in that direction, but none of these players are playing it in solo queue, so maybe I'm not surprised they were a bit slower to see it. But Rengar, so of the OPs, the Rengar, Camille, LeBlanc, we have seen them on the Rift 8 times, 8 victories, looking to make it 9 this time with the Rengar.
Yeah, we'll see how Spirit does. Was certainly looking lost in his series versus KT Rolster as he played those 2 games out. Did get Olaf in the one, had that success, but otherwise not the strongest. We'll see how they're going to fare as they move forward into this game, because the Freecs, you know, not quite in the position of Kongdu Monster, but this is a team that had a lot of hype around it with Marin returning. They need to get some wins on the board.
I mean, I think that storyline's a little bit facetious because they've had a very tough schedule, but if they don't 2-0, if they don't win this series, then the alarm bells start ringing.
You say that, but they did lose to MVP, so that's...
How good is MVP, though?
That's a big question mark on their record, so we have to see how they fare against Jin Air, 9th place team at the moment, but let's go ahead, not waste any more time, get on to the Rift for Game 1, Afreeca Freecs versus Jin Air Green Wings. All right, here we are. A lot of fans out here for both sides. You can see Jin Air playing around with Kuzan, waiting in the brush, but won't be able to find an opening onto Tucson.
I just put 2 and 2 together, actually, Kilios. I was like, Jin Air never really succeeded when it comes to big match wins. Always kind of been around, but never get to the top, as we see some Marin and Afreeca cheerfuls. I was thinking, okay, what's the best Western org to really compare Jin Air to? And even in their 2017 performance levels, you got to say it's a bit of a Team Liquid vibe about them.
I could definitely agree with that.
You know, they often do make it to playoffs, but not go further than that. Their fans are super, super loyal. Jin Air, even if they're at the bottom of the table, they'll always have a big cheer group. Long suffering. There would have been a time a couple of years ago where a team like CLG would have been a pretty good comparison, but obviously CLG have had their successes since 2015. But Jin Air, success has always eluded them, and it's been a rough start to the season.
Yep. They're more of the 5th meme, though, as far compared to the 4th from TL.
I mean, if there's a 5th meme, it'd be Afreeca Freecs, right? They finished 5th, in both seasons last year, and then
that is true.
Threw their whole roster out. Literally everyone.
And so far, so decent.
So far, so decent. You have a way with words, sir. Tolerable.
I don't really, yeah. I don't
Placid.
really wanna, I can't attribute the word good to this quite yet. We need to see a bit more from
And they beat
Afreeca.
Samsung. Samsung are good.
They've seemed a little bit off form as of late. But I'm saying I need to see more.
Maybe only watch their blue side games.
Then it's great.
100% win rate.
Oh my god.
KT wishes they could do that.
Yeah. Like, yeah, if we go to Worlds, can we just play blue side?
We've seen weirder formats.
Well, MT going to move in, get a little bit of counter jungling going on, but Spirit seems like he has this same idea. Well, he's going to start off with the Scuttle Crab in the river, but can open himself up to the possibility of those Raptors and Krugs if he wants to answer with that. Ixu, predictably going to be taking a bit of a beating here from Marin on this Rumble.
I mean, I actually like the pathing from Spirit because how many games in a row has Marin been ganked at level 3? As was always the case when he played for SKT. This is the man who will either be ganked or get a gank, or counter gank even, at level 3. Scuttle Crab gives him a little bit of safe vision. The game is so often played around Marin's lane, it feels like basically every Afreeca victory has been Marin popping off. Even if Kramer has had a good season, Kerr has had some good games, Marin predictably has been their superstar.
Yep. Aside from running Renekton into Maokai, that was a bit odd, but you know.
I mean, the first Renekton game, they beat KT Rolster, so...
Oh, it was great.
I agree.
That was against Jace.
And I think the frustration with Marin will be that his champion pool it feels like will always be his champion pool. If Riot released a balance patch where like his 5 champions were hard nerfed, he'd still play them because that's just how he is. Renekton, Rumble, Maokai.
Very stubborn.
He is stubborn, but he has mastery on those champions, and there's a time and place for mastery players. Kuro and his Victor, for example, would have been a big story in previous seasons. Fly is another mastery player, Aurelion Sol, Talia, but not so much the meta picks.
When you look to NA now, you have Froggen, of course, who still brings out the Anivia in 2017.
And that's cool. Like, I appreciate that he's like, I'm so good on this champion that whatever.
Oh, it's going to be the flash and ghost down for Koro in mid.
I guess it costs a control ward, so that's more than nothing, but no other ward jump was available to Umti.
Yeah, I think you're pretty happy with that exchange if you're a Lee Sin. Speaking of which, MT roaming up towards top. They may be looking for a nice early gank on Marin, who's not overextending as he usually does. So that's just going to be the recall out from the Lee Sin. Picks up a couple long swords.
Here's what I want. From 2015 to now, so including his time in China, what percentage of times was Marin involved in a kill or a death pre-level 6? I swear the number would be upwards of 70%. Just is a magnet for that stuff.
All right, you stats buffs.
That's a hard one. China stats are actually really hard to find. Somewhere Kelsey Moses furiously going on her database.
If anyone could figure it out fairly quickly, it's probably her. Tucson, though, takes a heck of a lot of damage. Plant's still firing off. Got to be careful. Does have the ebb and flow to keep himself sustained.
And I'm liking the return of Nami, specifically in the current utility AD carry meta, because Chains of Corruption into Aqua Prison, Ash Arrow into Aqua Prison. It feels like there's a lot of setup CC for Nami to be a pseudo-kill lane without being the mages that perhaps dominate the meta right now, and some of those were banned away in this game. But, you know, also has to sustain to get through some of the tough lanes.
See the equalizer thrown out in the top lane. Ixu's going to have to go ahead and recall as he was chunked out pretty significantly. Doesn't have a TP.
Teddy walks up. He could be in a
gets
lot of trouble.
Bubble. It's going to be exhaust coming through. Still holding onto the flash. Will finally pop it.
Spirit could have kept going and flashed into a brush, but because it's control warded, he didn't feel safe enough to go for a brute force all in. They get the flash, so little victory there for Afreeca Freecs.
Yep. Still going to be satisfied with that one. Teddy's still sticking around, chugging up on those biscuits. You were talking about this just 2 days ago. You know, the long swords start becoming more prevalent for these AD carries so they can survive the laning phase.
But it needs to be situational. In fact, I'm surprised Kramer is the one that's gone for Doranblade, the old school build, because he's against Zyra. Nami has a lot less harass. Still has good harass. There was a meta before we had mages where Nami was one of the higher harasses with the ebb and flow. But when you're against Zyra, that's what really prices you into the 3 potions, because people don't really die when there's no melee supports with all-in potential. They kind of get poked out of lane, then overstay, and having 3 potions is kind of the tonic to get through those hard laning phase, but this time, because I guess the sustain is there, he can afford to go Doran Blade. There was a long time, many years, 4 years, where you couldn't afford to go anything except Doran Blade. But now it almost feels like going Doran Blade is a luxury.
Yeah. This is more like, you know, the classic start that we saw back before the Doran's items were really introduced into the game.
We're talking about, when you say classic, we're talking about like almost beta things, because Doran Blade has been the start for so long, even after every other item, and the Doran Blade stats have gone from on-hit lifesteal to pure life. It's actually started off, it went lifesteal to on-hit, back to lifesteal. It's been a long road, getting from there to here.
Wonder when those were added. Season 3-ish?
Which one? Doran Blade?
Yeah.
Oh, they were there in Season 1.
Were they?
Yeah.
Dang, has it really been that long?
They might have been there from beta. In fact, they probably were. They were in and out of meta, but yes, they've always been there. Doran's shield's seen the most changes.
Yeah. Huh.
They've basically been toned down from the start. It used to be armor on Doran's shield back in the day, and then it became the single target, both spell and auto attack decrease.
I guess I'm thinking back to when they became like the must buy starting items.
I feel like it's been since Season 1, so maybe you just have a blinder for the Doran's items. You're one of those guys who looked at the guides and like, but if I start longsword, I'm closer to the big item I want.
Yeah, I mean, it checks out.
Yep.
The math is there.
Why would you buy wards? They stop you from getting Infinity Edge.
Yeah, that's, you know, that control ward, that's 75 more gold you can have towards your IE.
And you're giving the enemy gold when they clear it, so they're even closer to their Infinity Edge.
Yep.
League of Infinity Edge.
Don't buy wards. You heard it here. Waste of time. Ash Arrow goes out, not going to connect on the Teddy. Spirit finds Snowflower, and he's going to flash over the wall.
But crucially, first ultimate from Rengar doesn't find a kill. It feels like they could have kind of chosen one target and not gone for a half-screen arrow. They could have gone for something a little bit more assured.
Oh boy,
this time,
flash
this
over
pretty
the wall.
assured.
Yeah, Umti finding Tucson, locks him down as that the chain of corruption comes through from Teddy. First blood picked up, nicely done by Umti yet again, showing no hesitation and just flashing that wall for the Dragon 3.
Yeah, the thrill of the hunt gets nothing. The much shorter cooldown on the kick from Lee Sin gets a lot more. Big win there for Jinair. And like you say, Umti, from his first game against SK Telecom on the second day of the season, made a play on Faker with those sort of decisive flash. He does it again. And Inferno Drake would be quite the nice prize, but might be too risky.
You see, it's almost down to half HP.
No one's helping him.
Yeah, he's getting chunked down pretty low. Finally, Teddy and Snowflower do roam over, and Kuzan's come down from mid. So it looks like this will be picked up by Jinair. So they net themselves a very early Dragon, 10 minutes in, on top of that first blood. So nicely done by them. But can they keep this momentum moving?
And it's worth noting it was also a very ordered Drake. We just saw a series where BBQ was really stubborn about not buying wards even when they were ahead. It was double control warded towards the red buff. As Snowflower finds himself in a brush near Spirit, but Spirit has to run away.
Spirit goes low, Tucson yet again falling. That's going to be the exhaust coming through. Big heal out from Kramer to try to keep his support alive. And Jinair just turned that gank right on its head.
It looked like it would be for sure a kill when they were playing around brush. But they instantly double DPS down Spirit. He falls low, has to flash away. This Rengar, the first misfiring Rengar we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, definitely not a good start here. Spirit just trying to be really aggressive and just gets punished for it immediately. Snowflower really good with that exhaust to try to get the kill. Meanwhile, speaking of that, it's going to be the Ash Arrow coming through, but they can't really follow up. And Kramer,
he takes
that piercing arrow to the
That's the flash for minions. He dies to minions.
Oh boy, that is just devastating for Afreeca Freecs. Snowflower will go down, but what a misplay by Kramer getting taken out. Marin is able to come up with a kill. Meanwhile, TP in by Ixu. Wants to go ahead and go forward with this. The tidal wave comes through, pops him up, but it's not enough. Now that's going to be the Weaver's Wall thrown into the back as Gusan tries to cut off Marin. He's still pretty healthy, and they don't really have any way of diving with Ixu being as low as he is. But another kill picked up for Jinair, 3-1, and 1.4 thousand gold in the lead already.
The whole time, Afreeca thought they were on the front foot. They were not. Jinair was running the fight. Really good stuff from Teddy in particular. Could not miss a Q to save his life. And Kramer goes for the arrow.
On this.
But watch the minions. It's a full minion wave. All 6 on him. He tries to flash away. But just shows a complete misunderstanding of his situation. After the arrow registered, he needed to get out. Didn't get out fast enough. Doesn't cover himself in glory, and Teddy comes back with a completed Youmuu's tier as well. Things aren't going to get better for this Ashe anytime soon.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough. Jin Air being very decisive and just capitalizing on these mistakes that Afreeca are making left and right. And they just can't find a foothold yet in this game. Still plenty of time for Afreeca to try to turn this one around, but if the game is going to progress this way, then they might be looking at their first blue side loss the split.
And it's also one of those games where whenever we see a game that's like SK Telecom's first place, they're playing against the last game, you don't want to call it a stomp. That's boring. You talk about it as a trap game, right? You're like, well, this team could trip them up. You look at Afreeca Freecs, a lineup that's still finding their footing, you know, hadn't played together in any manner previous to this season. They took KT to 3 games, and in game 3, there was actually a couple of minutes where Afreeca could have run away with the game. They actually did have a lead at some points in that game, and this is a true trap game because Jin Air have looked good despite their meager standing on the ladder, and Afreeca have looked good despite losing series against tougher opposition and suddenly find themselves considerably behind Jin Air.
Yeah. Definitely not the spot you want to be in. The 9th place team giving you a run for your money.
Oh, Spirit.
Pushing in. Spirit's going to get found. They kick him right into the face of Kuzan, and he goes down. Can't even react. Doesn't have a flash available to do so. Sonic Wave won't land, but Teddy's going to flash forward. The seismic shove comes through, and Teddy picks himself up a kill in the bottom lane. 5-1. Jin Air really going with this one to keep this momentum pushing, and they might just be able to close out a game early against the Freeca Freecs.
So much setup CC for the seismic shove to register, and that big displacement comes in. You will die to the follow-up damage from Jin Air. Afreeca are all at sea. Orianna, that draft once again. We talked about Orianna in game 1 versus in their last series, and it didn't feel like they got much purchase for it there. There's more ball carriers this time, but it's such a passive pick. It could have been Cassio that runs basically every lane. Instead, it's Orianna that Talia is able to shove and roam on, and Spirit's not safe in his own jungle.
Yeah. Nothing you can do, and just good on Teddy, identifying that he was within range to get that Chain of Corruption down. That's themselves another kill, so 2-0-2 for the Varus already.
And you need to take a deep breath now if you're Afreeca Freecs. You've still got Rengar, who only gets stronger. The W, you know, you get some AD, you do enough damage, and as long as you're able to roar with that second part of the empowered W, you can get out and go for any. You're basically the perfect ball carrier because you're fast, you have a targeted leap onto the enemy, and you can get out after you get in. So Orianna gets some items. They stabilize. There's only 5,000 gold behind at 35 minutes. Game is still very winnable. But the snowball has started for Jin Air, and Freeca really need to check themselves before they wreck themselves.
Yeah, definitely need to look to Jin Air to show off some decisiveness here, something that's been significantly lacking from their past
smell a
games.
teleport,
But
Achilles.
here we go. This is already a good start here as they try to get onto this Tier 1 and mid. They get a lot of damage in. They won't be able to finish it off. Ash Arrow connects on the but there's no one there to collapse for a kill.
Yeah, Marin actually recalled, looked for a teleport, realized the minion wave was shoving, even though it's level 11 Rumble with a completed Leandri's Torment. Didn't find a way into the fight, so doesn't over-purchase. They're behind, so maybe it's smart just to focus on the minion score. Good wave clear. Rumble can wave clear. Orianna can wave clear. Ashe can wave clear. They do have good scaling, so no need to go all in, even if Afreeca find Jin Air overextended.
For now, we have our next dragon getting ready to spawn here in 3 seconds. You can see is already prepped for that one to come up. Ocean Drake. And should be able to pick this one up rather easily. Spirit and Marin are nearby. They throw a ward into the pit. They want to contest
Equalizer available.
They go ahead, they pop that goes low. Spirit trying to chase in, flashes forward, and he will go down. Marin comes up with the kill. Ixu threw out the depth charge to try to dissuade it, but it was not enough. Flash away from the Lee Sin and the Nautilus. And an Ocean Drake gets handed over to Afreeca. So a nice pickup, a good kill that they desperately needed to have on the board.
And you wouldn't think that an Ocean Drake would be the happy hunting ground for Afreeca when they're behind, but consider that Rumble was originally thought of as the auto-win Dragon champion. It's like, oh, you've got Equalizer, don't even fight Dragon against him because Equalizer runs that terrain. Level 2 Equalizer available. Orianna first to react and invade with the Rengar, they pick up a kill, they pick up the Ocean Drake, it's a steadier, and now, if this at least affects the mindset of Jin Air, if they play any more defensively, it's worth it in spades for Afreeca because they can get those items, get Orianna to that first needlessly large rod item, and start to scale up.
We'll see what Afreeca does when it comes to that next dragon. It will be another Infernal Drake coming up. And a double Infernal going over towards that Varus, towards that Talia. We've seen just how much damage they can do in a short span of time. Would be pretty crushing. For now, Jin still maintain a pretty significant lead here at 17 minutes. 3,500 gold. But they need to maintain this consistency in their pressure and not give up objectives like they did there at the Dragon if they want to win this first game.
Right now they don't have the real setup to threaten a dive around this outer turret. Usually teams won't put up as extended a defense as Afreeca are able to because you get the inside track, you've got Pick CC and a Talia. We've already seen what that can do. But for now, valiant defense from the Afreeca duo lane keeps this laning phase going in top. Not ideal to trade farm if you're Jin. Again, because Kuro is probably the hardest scaling champion in this game on that Orianna.
You'd have to think so. Spirit, with that assist, finally able to get a stack on that Bone Tooth necklace. Would like to have a bit more of those at this point, but hasn't been very favorable for him in that regard.
There are games where Rengar's damage is relevant. I'm not convinced this is one of those games. He has Rumble, Orianna, and Ashe to do damage for him. Not ideal that Orianna has no kills, but the items will come over time. He's a perfect ball carrier, so yes. Oh, Kramer, he's dead instantly.
Oh boy.
Instantly killed under the turret. This will maybe be that objective finally.
All right, well
Nami was nowhere to be seen.
That was so quick you could barely even react to that one. Just gets popped and immediately goes down, and there you go, tier 1 turret. Over to Jin.
They did so well, and then Nami was nowhere to be found. The deletion damage of Varus, we're going to see the replay. Nami's recalling, and Kramer's like, I've got one more wave, and he really doesn't. He died before Nami could cancel recall and W. The W animation went off, but the heal did not.
Well, Kramer learning a valuable life lesson. Don't stick around for the next wave.
I mean, no, everyone is guilty of that. Even Faker sticks around for too many waves.
Oh, yeah. It happens to everybody.
With complete information. If we were playing without Fog of War, no one would overstay for a wave, but we're not. And thus everyone does.
But yet another kill picked up here for Teddy. Already has that Edge of Night completed alongside the Yomus with that tier continually stacking. And looks like we will see QSS coming in as that third item.
We'll see even more Edge of the Night when the lethality buffs are confirmed. You gotta say, Edge of the Night is pretty damn safe. Whoa, as Tucson takes a massive chunk from Teddy, but Edge of the Night against this team, Ashe Arrow, maybe the Nami ultimate, maybe the Shockwave. There's actually a lot of safety with just an Edge of the Night for Teddy.
I mean, we weren't. Oh, I'll hold that thought as the Ashe Arrow comes out. Teddy throws out the Chain of Corruption on the Spirit, but he's able to cleanse it off. The Equalizer comes down, gets popped back in with a Shockwave, and he goes down. Kuro able to come up with a kill. But can Afreeca find anything else? Weaver's Wall thrown down by Kuzan. He had to stop them from pushing forward into that turret. Dragon's not up for a minute and a half, so it looks like Afreeca will just have to be satisfied with a kill.
I mean, all those ult timings barring Tucson's will be up in a minute and a half, so pretty good timing. Doesn't mean they won't have to worry about having them up again for the spawn of the Infernal Drake. That should probably be our first Titanic fight. We've had a lot of different picks across the map, which makes sense with given how many pick champions we have on the Rift. But we're waiting for our first fight as Marin knows exactly what he's all about. Equalizer positioning is exactly what he's invested all of his gold into. When I saw Ruby Crystal, Blasting Wand, and the Amp Tome, I thought Rylai's, which is still going to be an item that Marin will consider, but he's realized that if the Equalizer's on point, they're going to win a fight against Jin.
Yep. Just went straight for the Void Staff. So he can really chunk them out, even work through Ixu, who is starting to build up as much MR as he can.
Well, Ashe doesn't really ramp up in damage till later. Goes that utility build. As you can see, doesn't actually have utility or damage. No Hurricane.
Yeah, two-thirds of the way towards that Essence Reaver.
I'm really not a fan of these builds. Kramer is definitely the sort of guy that will always buy a constituent part or never sit on gold, but This Ashe at 22 minutes does almost no damage. Doesn't have CDR, doesn't really do, doesn't really have critical strike, doesn't really do anything well. But he has so much damage in the other members that maybe it doesn't matter. And when he finishes both items at the same time, it's the sort of power spike where, you start a fight and you don't check for an item and you're like, whoa, this Ashe is doing way more than she was doing one fight ago.
I mean, if he can consistently land those crystalline arrows, then sets up for Spirit and Martin to come up with the kills. Kuro as well, as we saw with that shockwave in mid. So, seems like that is just going to be Kramer's objective for now as he builds his way towards that Essence Reaver in the Hurricane. But will be a ways away. Fertile Dragon has since respawned. You can see Afreeca sitting in the brush just under the mid lane. Now they'll start pushing in, trying to get control of the vision around this pit.
Kramer is the ultimate thrift shopper, that's what we've learned.
That he is. He also he buys very weird things at times. Weaver's Wall comes through. MT going for it on a Spirit, kicks him into the wall. TP coming through from Ixu to try to lock him down. He's going to go ahead and pop the depth charge over the wall.
Hooray for the W from Rengar.
Yeah, able to go ahead and get rid of that with that max stack W.
And good news, OG and Legion, we've got another patch of that Rengar. The change is not coming through to 7.3. If it is even confirmed, that change that was mooted on the PBE was that incoming CC wouldn't be invulnerable to, only active CC.
Which seems like a pretty good change to have.
Yep. Although the part where he's always able to empower his W and still one-shots me is a bit concerning on its own.
There's a couple concerning things about some of those champions on the Rift right now.
Overtuned, perhaps.
Yeah. What's that, Camille, you say? No.
She only does.
I feel like you shouldn't be able to hook shot your way over a wall. I think you should always have to bounce off of a wall.
I mean, that's nowhere near the biggest defender.
Oh, I know.
How about the fact that the double mobility spell also stuns them?
Hey, man, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's one of the things that I think should be changed.
Why does she get an attack speed steroid?
Why does she get true damage on a Sheen proc or a Triforce proc?
You can have one of those things. You can't have all of them. Even Kalista had to have everything nerfed so she could keep up the rend on objectives power spike. Could also argue the support utility ultimate as well. Talia and Kalista definitely the biggest headaches, as Marin's not spotted here, I don't think. Obviously, the Sixth Sense is rumbling for Kuzan, but...
Haha.
Damn it.
You weren't even thinking that. Ashe Arrow, though, from Kramer's shot from mid lane, not going to connect, but pretty damn close.
If there's ever another Jarvan meta, so i.e. if Ray comes back to Korea, notice when I talk about a massive engage being a cataclysmic engage, it's just on my mind. It's a word I've said.
We'll see what happens to Jarvan to get him back into the meta. He's a ways away at the moment.
I mean, he's another kind of does everything champion, so when his numbers are there, everyone plays him.
Spirit going on the hunt. T has to flash over the wall, and that's going to be a blue buff picked up. Well, what do Afreeca do from here? Still down by just over 3,000 gold, and that double Infernal is stacking up for Janair.
And that's true, but with the comps, this is fine for Afreeca. The breathing room they've had, it was 5-1, and the game looked like it might be snuffed out. You were talking about, like, can they finish it early? The answer clearly is no. Janair, and also Janair.
Yeah.
So, since then...
How eloquent.
Exactly. And the stabilizing is really important to talk. Out of nowhere, the Boots 1 Morellonomicon Orianna now has the completed Ludens, now has Boots 2, working towards Death Cap probably as a third item. Maybe Void Staff, given all the magic was just stacking. If you kept the pace up, and there are teams in this league that can, KT Rolster, for example, when they're running those poke Jace comps, Orianna never gets items, and it looks like a foolish pick. You're like, why Orianna? You didn't do anything, Kuro. Rah, rah, rah. If you get a lot of time, things get better and better. And specifically, Marin is looking like he might actually even be able to trouble Ixu in the side lane, because Ixu has some magic resist, but Marin has magic penetration now as Zonia's as well to cancel out the depth charge.
Yep, he's been in a pretty good spot here, 2-0-1 on that Rumble, and quite a bit of CS up. Janair, though, turning their eyes onto this turn in mid. Big shockwave comes through. Dredgeline from Ixu, not going to connect with the bubble. Makes it onto Teddy, who cleanses it off, but it might not be enough to help him, to help his teammates. Ashe Arrow Will not get onto definitely the desired target. Marin, he's just put in he's put in Rumble prison.
He was like, the only way to get around this is to walk the most furthest way around the
or to flash it, which you definitely didn't want to do.
The ring around the Rosie, that was quite hilarious. Now he still has Equalizer, level 16.
He's still playing it. I don't know if they spotted him out yet.
Level 16, again, like with that much magic penetration, Marin is very powerful.
Yeah, looks like he's going to go ahead, bounce his way back down to the bottom lane.
This is one of those games where I think Nautilus has to build the Locket. They need a Locket of the Iron Solari. It's always been, whatever the way it was built, Aegis into Locket, or just the Locket as it is now, it was always, I guess still Aegis into Locket, but you know what I mean, the Aura. Even with the Aura removed, you need a way to cancel out massive amount of damage as Equalizer will do. Zyra is not the sort of champion to build a Locket, so probably has to be the Nautilus. We've seen Huni, of all people, go Locket and Knight's Vow from top lane.
Well, sometimes you just gotta get your ADC some crits. You know, just get them set up so they can just fire away. So you just pop that Locket, get them set, stun somebody as Poppy, and then you're good to go.
And Kramer, the Thrift Shop builds become the standard build. So there was that time where Jinner had a window. The window has kind of closed. Not to say they're behind. They're still ahead in goal. They still have double Infernal. But team fights that looks like they could only go one way, and now suddenly up in the air.
I think this is really going to come down to one explosive fight, and it really could just rely on the placement of that Equalizer from Marin. It's such a crucial ultimate. It's got to be, you know, Equalizer.
Oh, the blind ult from Teddy. Very nice.
Yep, Spirit just running in a straight line. Gets caught out by that one, so won't be able to find a kill.
They know exactly where he is.
Varus.
Throw the hunt used to be such a scary thing, but it lasts so long now. Marin could turn around with an Equalizer here.
He gets popped up, has that big
great terrain for it.
Zyra ultimate being thrown down by Snowflower. Teddy going low, but the shockwave won't catch him. Just finds Ixu, who will fall. As Kuro just autos him to death. Afreeca coming up with the kill. Dragon getting ready to spawn in 5 seconds. Could just be a Mountain Drake picked up by them. But looks like they do want to go ahead and defend this turret to the best of their ability. But
they can do both the kills. 40 seconds still on the death timer. We're late enough into the game where Nautilus will take his time to recall. So they'll get both objectives. If you remember, when he hit level 16, Marin walked straight in and warded the brush to the right side of the outer mid lane turret for Jinner, and he was back there again getting chunked out. You're like, why? I mean, what is he gaining? It's the perfect terrain for the Equalizer. As an Equalizer focused build, and getting the opponents into a choke is what it is. It's basically a mind game every time you play against Rumble, where every time you're like, man, I could really go for this fight in the choke. The answer's always, no, no, no. You need that Monte Cristo, no, no, no meme, the gif that goes around. And Marin baited at that time, only got the single kill, but the Drake didn't lose any turret. HP in mid, and actually wailing away on the bot lane turret as well.
Yeah, with that Mountain Drake, should be able to knock that down pretty quickly. Looks like he's going to let the wave do the rest of the work. Kramer takes a heck of a lot of damage. Chain of Corruption didn't connect, certainly would have been his death had it. But he'll be able to live for a bit longer here as Jinner just desperately try to keep clearing out vision around mid to knock down this turret and open up the map.
And has Equalizer again.
Running his way over there. Yep, Equalizer's ready to go. And there's nobody that can walk up because that hash arrow is just ready on the side of Kramer.
Yeah, Nautilus will take his time pushing in bot. Another Nautilus, no Iceborne Gauntlet. Seems like it's fallen out of favor quite a bit. Throw the hunt is held for now. Second Talia of the day, not really making it around the map. You know, he hit level 16, 3 ranks and ults. We've maybe seen 3 ults, probably 2 so far this game. Talia with winning lanes, which they had at least 2 of on paper, should be able to make it around the map, but not to be. And this is definitely the game where if Jinner go on to lose, you know, you freeze the VOD at, what was it, maybe 14 minutes, and you're like, you didn't understand how far ahead you were. Look at their items. Look at where the map is being played. Look at the last 3 rotations. Afreeca have no answer to anything you force, but they made one mistake. The pressure fell away. And now Afreeca, maybe they don't have the gold, but what did I say at 15 minutes? In 20 minutes time, 5,000 gold behind. Well, it's almost that time now.
Arrow comes through, connects on the Snowflower, gets popped up, and he goes down. The dissonance, all that was required to kill him. in conjunction with that shockwave. He goes down.
Holy crap, Marin's level 18.
Oh, wow.
He just got all of the minions.
Yeah, wow, he's
2
18.
levels above a Nautilus.
Kuro is 17, so he's rather close with Marin, yeah. He's been grinding away at the CS. Tier 1 turret in mid. Let's go down in favor of Afreeca. And Ixu, you know, he wants to fish for a dredge line, but he just can't even go for it because it would just spell the death of, if not him, many other people. Oopsie goes in, gets the kick on the Kramer. He takes a big chunk of damage on that piercing arrow.
No Marin.
They're trying to find Spirit now. Let's dissolve the dredge line, connects, but won't pull him back in. It's the W.
It was good timing, though. It was a 4v4. Marin had to walk down. Teleport didn't get any value. No gain found. Umti's Lee Sin mechanics have been one of the rare highlights for Jin Air so far this season, but even though the start was good, increasingly feeling like he won't be able to boost up that win percentage.
Jin Air still trying to poke in, get this tier 1 down, but Marin's still in the area. He's got the equalizer available, could just toss it to burn out the wave. He won't be able to hold on to this for too much longer, you'd have to think.
I wonder what needlessly large rod item he's building. I'm guessing it's going to be Death Cap.
Yeah, I would
Feels
think
like
so.
Leandri's window's kind of gone.
Yeah, I don't think you would go for...
Not Leandri's, Luden's window.
Luden's, yeah.
Luden's is decent on Rumble. Kind of with the same characteristics when you go Runeglaive from the jungle.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of extra burst, and he's got the magic pen already, but it does definitely feel like Death Cap. Sitting on 1,400 gold, his Spirit's caught, and there's nothing he can do.
Try to keep him in the pit and have the Baron chunk him down. Oopsie jumps in on top of him, and he'll get taken out.
That was
nice
creative.
wall by Kuzan. Yeah, really creative play to get rid of the jungler, but they're still not in a position to go for the Baron quite yet, you would have to think.
And there's so many people at home feeling catharsis, because they're like, well, your double empowered Raw ain't going to do nothing here, Rengar.
All the ADC mains for choice.
Yeah, the ADC mains. He's definitely not killing just everyone on the Rift.
That's true. That's another one we need to watch Rengar die. Somebody make that channel happen.
Give it a couple of balance patches, and maybe we'll get there. Watch Rengar should be a pretty novel stream right now also. Don't see him very often.
Marin walking in blind. Has the Zonius to try to keep himself alive. Depth charge in onto Kuro. And Marin's just going to go ahead, flash out. Redemption was there to keep him topped up. And Jin Air can't come up with the kill.
Well, he made the most out of the face check. He'd have to use his flash, but Kuro does not, even though he gets depth charged. Jin Air backs away. They get down some of the vision. Not saying it was a smart move, but not to be punished by Jin Air.
Yeah, definitely could have been much worse. He'll just go back down to bottom and get himself this massive wave as he approaches the Flame Horizon.
Yeah.
Fitting for this champion.
Which is a weird thing to say, given that I cast Chinese League of Legends when we had Acorn, one of the best top laners in the world, never get to play Rumble, and Flame would always play it, even though he wasn't a Rumble main. And I was like, what is this going on? And then Acorn started playing Kennen, and I was like, again, crazy world, but yeah, the Flame Horizon is now achieved.
I think it was achieved earlier today in the NA LCS by Flame himself, despite the losses.
It must have been weird to be on the bench for as long as Flame was and have his name be mentioned every single cast. InSec and Flame, their name will never go away.
Yeah.
There will always be in competitive League of Legends between the InSec and the Flame Horizon.
I mean, hell, InSec even got tied to Azir, which was something that he never got to bring out.
The Azir Sec?
Yeah.
I think that's a cooler name than Streamer Shuffle, but that's just me.
Spirit goes hunting. Won't find much, though.
I gotta say, when it was short duration, Thrill of the Hunt meant like a lot, but he hunts for a really long time. Sometimes he just meanders. Meander of the Hunt is probably not the best.
You can't even tell if he's still hunting if you're on the enemy team. You're like, does he still have it? Am I
One
safe?
of us is marked, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of being marked, now we're going to have those Warwick marks coming out.
I'm ready for the Warwick. He's really interesting.
Every time I'm playing in the top lane and Warwick comes out, I'm just like, all right, where are you? I see you marking me. Just like play back underneath the turret.
I want to see some competitive play. I want to see what people think is the right build. You see some very offensive Warwicks in solo queue. That's probably not going to be the build.
I'm always offended when I see Warwick in competitive.
It's come out a bit in EU. That's been the only real sighting so far. Game has reached a pretty exciting spot. Even though we joke and nothing has really changed in the last couple of minutes, there's a lot of power on both sides. Level 18s are starting to be reached even on the side of Jin Air, although it's double level 18 for Kuro and Marin. They're starting Baron.
Okay, Scrying Orb comes out
They
immediately.
don't have flank wards, but Rumble's not really a flank champion.
This could be really risky. Weaver's Wall thrown out.
They just want to try and wall them off and try and take the Baron. They're rushing it here.
They have to do this
the
really
duration's
quickly.
really long.
Down to 3K. Can they get into the tidal wave coming through? Redemption thrown down. Won't come up with the steal, but Kuro is able to get rid of Snowflower right off the bat. Umti does confirm the Baron, dashes out the safety, and Ixu will follow with his flash. And it looks like Jin Air, they might have just gotten away with murder for the most part. They get the Baron and only lose the Zyra.
That was genius stuff from Jin Air. The flash was about 20 seconds off cooldown when this all started. Nothing Spirit could do. No one was going to give him a jump. Afreeca going to run down to Elder Drake, but that's the only prize they can even hope for. It's not guaranteed either. Takes a while to whale down to 5,000. I don't think Lee Sin's going to get there, though.
Kramer does a lot of damage at the moment. You can see that does get taken out at the end. So double buff on that Elder Dragon coming through on the mountain and the ocean. So definitely not the worst of things if you're Jin Air.
It's been a while, Achilleo, since we've seen the Weaver's Wall be used for so many different things. The roams haven't been there today, but there was no way for a smite contest, at least it looked like. It turns out actually there was a really good chance for a smite contest. Spirit was a little bit early. Really creative stuff for Jin Air. I didn't think there was a world against Rengar where they could even hope to rush down Baron. They tried it, ended up being closer than I gave credit to, so Spirit did get there in the end, but there being no flash made that more of a headache than there should have been for Afreeca.
Yeah, and I mean, Kuzan, like he didn't have that big global impact on the map in the early game to really start getting the lanes ahead, but he's been using this so creatively, as you say, that it's kind of making up for that early performance on this champion. Still deathless, 2-0-1. He's been keeping up fairly well as far as CS is concerned, and these Weaver's Walls, they've been working out really well for Jin Air, finally netting them a Baron, the first one that we see go down to 39 minutes in this game. But now, the question is, what can Jin Air do with this? They have to push into a double buff Elder Dragon Afreeca.
But it's way worse than that. They can only push because they have Baron buff, and they're against Rengar Orianna, who will instantly kill them if they're overextended. So it's the biggest stalemate you'll see despite the buffs.
But at Catch 22, I suppose, they put themselves in.
There is actually a world where they lose out on CS because of the Baron buff minions pushing. They just can't walk up. It's very, very risky for them to do so. Maybe when the Elder Drake goes down, there's that tiny window, but it's a lot shorter given that the buff duration was increased on the Elder Dragon.
Yep. See Kramer clearing out the minions and bot, desperately trying to get Unflame Horizon.
Unflame Horizon.
Deflame Horizon?
It's looking more like Double Flame Horizon at this point.
What would we call that? Extinguished?
Sure, and that's given the name especially, that's a good one.
All right, extinguish the Flame Horizon.
I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it's almost, as I say, the Double Flame Horizon's coming in soon. But
yep.
Rumble's kind of running out of items. Spirit's running towards the enemy. Weaver's Wall spits him off from his team, but he is invisible forever, so whatever.
Yep.
He's still thrilled, apparently.
You don't know where I'm at.
A 22-second thrill. That's what Spirit's got going for him.
Hey, man, have you seen those bursts of energy that cats get every now and then? It makes perfect sense to me.
The roar sounded more like a purr that time. It was like,
Is that what a purr sounds like?
I guess so.
Can't do your best purr impression for us?
Well, you give me one, Achilles. Come on. What is it? You have a cat.
Can't do an actual
Oh,
purr.
performance anxiety over here. I get it. I see. There we go.
There you
Wow,
go.
that was a... I don't know if that was stream appropriate.
Yeah. Children go to bed.
The children are definitely asleep.
Should have already been asleep a while ago, actually, at this
Maybe
point.
in Europe they're awake.
Yeah, that's...
European children now don't like Achilles. That's one market you won't conquer, I'm sorry.
It's okay, because Korea's a region that Europe will never conquer anyway.
Fair. Well, the Flame Horizon looks like it'll persist. Marin's got 6 items, so he's not getting any stronger. And he's the only one with teleport. They don't have a Taliyah or semi-global, so I guess they're stuck funneling more resources onto someone who can't get any stronger. Not really achieving anything. Unlike many of the meta top laners, like the Camille we've talked about, and other ones, 6 items doesn't make him have kill pressure on the enemy top laner. still really haven't seen the fight we've been waiting for. It's been 41 minutes, and
we've been building up to it. I'm ready to go.
Kuzan has denied us. There's been so many teases of a fight, but Kuzan has denied us with some very nice wall positioning.
Yep, and it's just like a conflict of feelings. It's like, I want this fight to happen, but Kuzan, you're doing some pretty cool stuff.
Rengar's ulted again.
Charging his way up the lane.
Will it be an NA ult or a KR ult?
He's going for a little strut. Jin, they peel back towards that tier 2.
Spotted now. Well, I guess his essence is spotted. Now he's swept. Oh, equalizer.
Yeah, thrown down. Teddy goes low. They kick in Spirit. He gets knocked in underneath the tower, but it's not enough. Snowflower, the first one to fall yet again. Redemption comes down, healing up He's got that G.
Nice hook.
Nice dredge line in onto Spirit. He's going to jump away with a flash. Tries to get himself out. Chain of Corruption comes down onto Kuro. Takes a bit of damage from the piercing arrow, but overall he's going to be okay. Afreeca Freecs still relatively healthy, but Marin and Spirit definitely going to have to try to hightail it out of here. Marin's cut off, but he says, screw it. I'm just going to go straight into your face. Kuzan flashes over the wall, burns him down. Meanwhile, GA does get popped onto Doesn't have much of anywhere to go. Gets taken out by Kramer, who's firing away at Ixu, trying to slow him up as best as he can. Should be able to do so. Should be able to make it a double kill. Teddy goes down. That's going to be the GA pop. Afreeca coming up already with 3 kills, looking for a 4th one, as Ixu will certainly fall here. Let's see what they can transition this into. A triple kill going over to Kramer, padding that KDA yet again.
It looked like Jin would get the 1 pick, but too many people turn around. No threat onto Kramer. And suddenly, the base is going to be broken. It took 43 minutes for us to see our first inhibitor turret go down. Death time is pretty long. They could try to brute force. It is a Talia who has good wave clear. So for now, they're looking to stay. Marin can teleport back in. I think they want the finish now, Achilles.
They do, but Kuzan does have the wave clear here.
Minion wave's still pretty far away.
Have to wait this one out as best as they can, but it looks like they're just going to go ahead and peel back. Teddy's coming up in 15 seconds. Marin not going for the TP, has to save that tier 2 in top, so they will go ahead and back off, and we've been playing League of Legends for an hour. Yeah,
that's actually a pretty good warning. It's been a really intriguing Jin game. Snowflower dies to a lot of ults, and okay, is this going to be consequential? Because Jin at this point could have backed away and have good wave clear. We could have stopped fighting. Ixu basically baits his team into a fight because he hits a max range hook. Even now, you're looking at it being like, okay, this fight could be over. But at the end of the day, Kuzan once again with the zoning play. Lots of flashes are traded. I think even if everyone had backed away after the flashes got down, it would have been advantage of Afreeca, because then the next Rengar Orianna ult would have had no flashes to get away.
Yeah.
But Kramer free hits. He's the true winner at this point. Hurricane bolts onto multiple members. No damage threat whatsoever as Talia is zoned way back. Kuzan on the team, not ready for that sort of pace.
Thrown down. Here comes Marin from the backside, trying to get on top of Teddy. He's going to get popped up, and he gets taken down. Actually, Tucson coming up with the killing blow, and both carries on the side of Jin have been taken out. Sniping from the back.
For the minion wave.
Yeah, trying to go ahead and delay. Thought maybe he was going to...
Can't even stop the minion wave now,
Yeah, all right. Marin, cheeky play. We'll just go ahead, try to get on top of him.
I mean, this is actually smart from really. This is what he needs to be doing. And finally, Afreeca like, wait, death timers.
Yep, 30 seconds remaining on both. Marin's still sticking around.
What are you doing, Marin?
He's trying to spot out.
He's waiting for him to come for the next minion wave, I guess. I don't think they'll need another minion wave. It is a inhibitor down, so they are super minions.
Still only 20 seconds left on the clock here, and they can delay. You can see Snowflower just spamming out the flowers, keeping the minions occupied and away from the turret. Depth charge coming through. Spirit gets popped up.
You wouldn't know
the wave
it.
is gone. And it looks like Afreeca just going to go ahead and have to peel back. The Baron is available if they want to go straight for that objective. Looks like that might be the case. The pings are coming out. Jin are aware of this. T sneaking his way in above. Gets spotted out. Twofold. Ward and that hawk shot.
Hey, we'll be 5 members of Jin. This should never have happened. It felt like Afreeca got too interested on Umti.
But
Speaking of Umti,
yeah, going in onto Umti, doesn't have that GA. They stun up Ixu. You can see that equalizer ticking away at him. That 1800 piercing arrow, but it's not enough. The spike comes through, and Spirit is able to pick up the Baron yet again here. This time going over to Afreeca Freecs. But can they exit? Looks like the answer will be yes. Jin just not able to push far enough forward to try to get those extra kills.
You see the pings as well on the blue side. Top and bot lane pushing in.
And mid.
We'll just lose top lane turret to the minions. As you say, a mid lane, super minions. Yeah, but it should respawn soon. But good stuff from Afreeca, good zoning. A problem thought out. That particular Baron a lot better than the last couple. And they're looking for the double stack. Baron and a 2-stack Elder Drake should be available to them in a minute.
Yeah, but first they can go ahead and finish the job on that tier 2 and bottom. The minions have already done quite a bit of work to it. So shouldn't take too much of their attention to go ahead and knock that down and just gain even more map control. You can see the wards coming through desperately from Jin Air, but they're so far away from the dragon, they won't really be able to contest this. They know that it's going to happen, but they won't know how low it is to be able to try to go for a steal. The Scrying Orb for Teddy not up for a little bit of time. And Afreeca, so they even want to play around the Elder Dragon. They still have 20 seconds to make up their minds, but for now, looks like they're happy to go ahead, stick it around in bot, maybe get some damage onto this inhibitor turret.
For now, still waiting on the spawn, so no rush to walk back to the Elder Dragon. Spirit can still create mind games, hanging around. It is funny how this became, once again, the quintessential Jin Air game. They are the only Kesper team with a StarCraft team still.
I don't know, man.
Honestly, they do feel a lot like a StarCraft team, but...
I can't even put my words together on that one. Who's on?
You know when you start playing StarCraft and you just build bases and you're like, no rush? Jin Air is the no rush team. They're like, can we all get to level 18 and fight? That's what they do, no rush.
I need to upgrade all my units. Let's just amass giant armies on both sides and crash them into each other.
Why don't they just start picking champions that peak at level 18 across the board? Because the game will get there eventually.
I don't know. They had such a strong start. Still have this double Infernal Drake, but it's just not enough. They can't get a kill.
Here's what I'll say on Jin Air. It's amazing that SKT can reinvent themselves, the meta can change, and they can always win worlds. It's also amazing that they can change the lineup, the meta can change, and Jin Air will always play 50-minute games. Nothing can stop this team. It's madness.
Some things just never change, Baba Smithy. As unfortunate as it is, we're about to break the 50-minute mark in this game.
I mean, I'm coming around on it. I've been, like, oh, Jin Air, but today I'm pumped. I'm ready for some 60-minute games.
That's the Stockholm Syndrome setting.
Oh, it is for sure. Stages of grief.
Afreeca starting to chip away at this inhibitor.
The zoning thrilled the hunt.
Oh, all right. Marin gets caught by Shady Corruption. He takes a lot of damage, but that's not dissuading the rest of Afreeca from getting rid of the inhib.
But strategically, chunking out Marin might cause Afreeca to pull back and extend the game.
He's got that Ocean Drake, man. He's ready to go. It's buffed up by that Elder Dragon.
Yeah, give me some regen.
So much sustain. Look at that. He's almost full HP again. Plus, he's got 2 Sin. He's good to go. All set. Throwing out the Equalizer right into the back line. Ixu going to eat that Ash Arrow to the face. Won't take too much damage, as it turns out the Nautilus is pretty tanky.
Build a wall. That's what Kuzan... Has Kuzan ridden a wall yet? I'm pretty sure he... Are we sure he knows the interaction where he can ride the wall?
I don't know. I mean...
The first couple of times, I'm like, that's really creative.
I mean, Edge didn't really know that interaction very well, so maybe Kuzan doesn't either.
Fool me once, fool me twice. Let's buy more items.
Yep.
Both 80 carries still have... No, the total lie, actually. Teddy doesn't have boots. He's a Siege Cannon. We saw Siege Cannon Teddy in that long game against Longzhu. Did end up costing them. Does mean the terrain they can fight around gets more limited. Yeoman's sure his move speed for a little bit. Yes.
Right there.
Here's a record we can run towards.
Every time Jin Air plays and it goes beyond 50 minutes, they will always put this slide up.
I love it because, remember when we had Spenu back in the league and Sarson's like, I can make 25 unique champions. Jin Air look at stats like this and like, we can go longer.
We can break that record.
Like, a lot of teams VOD review their own games. Jin Air VOD review that famous game in NA. What was it? Dignitas versus Complexity? I forget who they were playing.
I don't even remember.
The 90-minute game where Kobe and Rivington were cheering for anything to happen. I'm not there yet. There's still many minutes to go.
We're about 16 minutes out from breaking that record. 15 now, I believe. So still a ways away. Jin Air back in like Season 2 when we had those like really long pauses. Must have been just such big fans of that. He's like sitting there just like, I can't wait for the game to not start.
I think they enjoy inflicting this on us, Kilios. Kuro's sitting on 2,200 gold because what is gold at 51 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not much.
Jin Air is just waiting for the patch notes where they're like, introduced buybacks. And they're like, we've got this game.
Yeah.
We've got it now,
We
boys.
can actually win.
Everyone goes teleport, buyback. Maybe they're just playing the wrong esport, the wrong MOBA. That might be it.
Could be.
Well, I mean, the wave clear is so strong. You know, it's getting back to why this game has been extended so far. The wave clear is so strong with Talia and Varus that, apart from the inhibitor that's been down for, I guess, 15 minutes, honestly, time doesn't really... It's a bit of a time vortex right now. The next step is hard. Ash Arrow. Nautilus just chills in the front, eats the Ash Arrow, does nothing. Zoning Equalizer was tried last time. Didn't do anything.
Nope.
Nobody's carrying the Orianna ball into a Zyra comp, so that's hard. And then, if they even look like they're going to aggress, 6 seconds of wall comes down from Kuzan, so that's why it goes on forever.
All right, well, Spirit. Throw the hunt coming through. This is not MT, no one you. Looking for Teddy. Can't find it.
Just the most thrilling hunt.
There's been so many of these. I would like to know how many times he's used it and not gotten anything.
Oh.
Marn, though, going to get caught.
Are they
Ash
far
Arrow
enough
comes
out of the
through.
base?
It finds
They might
Kuzan.
be.
Big tidal wave coming through. Snowflower goes down. Teddy desperately trying to kite back away from Spirit. And that's going to be a big shockwave. Connects onto Ixu. Not able to find Teddy as he flashes out to safety. But with Snowflower gone, a lot of the peel for Jin Air has been eliminated. But a big piercing arrow into the back line takes out Kuro. Is that enough to stop Afreeca Freecs in their tracks, though? That is the question. Baron's respawn looks like Afreeca might just peel back to that yet again.
So much action for one. Kuzan once again. Oh, this is Ixu.
Yeah, Ixu, he TP'd in. Gets slowed up, though. Can
Flash is
an
available,
opening?
but...
This would still be so risky. There's not much follow-up available for him. Teddy's still in the mid lane, still low. Oh, Scrying Orb comes out. Marn will throw a ward over the wall, and looks like everybody's going to go home.
Tell me you're not entertained, Gilios.
I'm entertained.
Oh, good, the throw of the hunt's back.
Oh. Ash Arrow.
Oh.
Nope, never mind.
What about Teddy? Oh, nope.
Oh, dear.
Such a thrilling hunt again.
It's,
we need a new name for these zoning throw of the hunts.
I don't even know. Oh,
Oh,
there we go. Finally
not
got
zoning
one.
at all.
Spirit makes his way into the back. Teddy sticking around for too long. Gets taken out. Martin pushing forward. Goes low. Tries to get onto Umpty, but he's going to get taken out. The Dragon's Rage
dead.
with the help of Ixu able to finish him off. But Kramer firing away. Does take out Snowflower. Looking for Umpty to boot. Dashes away with a ward hop. Can they come up with a slow? Flash bubble from Tucson. It falls way too short, but they'll be able to get the move speed buff from the Scuttle Crab.
Umpty's running towards that minion wave.
Yet again, barely not connecting.
Stop chasing Umpty!
They could have went and killed the inhibitor
they're
again.
still gonna chase Umpty.
Now Kuro's doing it.
I'm so sad.
There we go.
To madness we go.
Oh,
I think I'm ready for the next stage of Grief
the
Gilios.
descent has begun.
What's the stage after Jin Air?
Death? I don't know. No one ever got that far. Oh,
Well, the
boy.
minion waves are pushing, so I guess Afreeca should go clear those. That'll extend the game a bit
Here
more.
we go. Jin Air being proactive, moving towards that tier 2.
The zoning throw of the hunt became a deadly one.
Recalling on a ward. Teddy.
Teddy was like, I really hope this means he's not actually that close, but he was this time.
Should never take that risk. He's gotta, kind of smack himself in the head over that one.
All right, they get the inhibitors. That's something.
All right, yeah, looks like Jin Air, they were able to get the wave moving in bottom. The minions able to finish off the turret. They had the recall, but are unable to defend the inhib as it goes down yet again for the third or fourth time, I think. I've lost
What's
track.
counting?
I don't even know how many Barons there's been at this point.
Lots. Have we seen a Weaver's Wall where Kuzan rides it, though? That's the
No,
real question.
I think we actually have not. He's too scared.
This is where I wish we could have all the creative stats. So, I mean, we're going to get replays. We're getting all the modes we want. I want the creative stats. Like, how long has Spirit spent this game invisible? Feels like about 7 minutes at this point.
How many seconds
Yeah.
or milliseconds has Kuzan spent on a wall?
That's a fair question.
Here he goes again.
I mean, with the cooldown reduction, which honestly she doesn't have it, is 20%, but 30%. But with cooldown reduction, the duration is so long and the cooldown's pretty short that why not just be invisible? I mean, if you could be invisible all the
it's
time,
like having Daisy
why not?
out. It's like having Daisy out as Ivern. She might as well be there.
It is fun seeing Rengar become like 70% Evelyn, though. Even gets a move speed increase. Sweet.
Evelyn, but better.
Yeah, way better. Solo Q is still good, though.
Can absolutely destroy you.
Knight's Vow onto Ixu. Well, I mean, I actually like the Knight's Vow, given the no boots situation for Varus, that anything to help Varus live a little bit longer is helpful. We'll see more Knight's Vow in 7.2. The buffs will come through on it. It's a little bit cheaper. We see melee supports. I imagine someone like Totoro will be liking the Knight's Vow buff. Wouldn't be a Jin Air series without an hour-long game. My body is so ready. Damn, that's some poke.
I think
from,
mine's shutting
Teddy.
down. So here we go.
All right.
Comes out, equalizer thrown down. Ash Arrow going to go wide, doesn't connect on Teddy. Executive order comes through
with the
Kuzan
wall
as he builds a wall. Dredgeline connects on
Who's going to pay for it?
Redemption is thrown down. Looks like no one right now.
Well,
no one wants
might.
to pay for that damn wall. Kuro's going to go ahead, peel back, goes low. But Jin Air just can't finalize the kill. Super Creep still pushing into the mid lane. Tucson takes a big hit.
Spirit's still invisible, in case you're wondering.
Has not come out of that yet. There we go.
Hey, guys. That's definitely the Hey Guys Twitch emote.
Turret steadily getting chunked out at half HP. Jin Air just keep on wave clearing. It looks like it's just going to be a third Elder Drake kind of game, Bob Smithy.
Was there ever any doubt, Achilleos? Is that a teleport? Oh, it is.
There's a TP coming through. Ash Arrow gets thrown out. Elder Dragon comes through. His Spirit picks
Nice
that
flash
one up.
from Teddy.
Dredgeline onto Tucson.
A
Kramer
lot
gets
low
taken over
here.
the wall. He gets taken
That's
out.
one.
Uzi comes up with the kill.
Kuro's
Martin
dead.
going into the back line, trying to take out Teddy, but Kuro goes down on the other side of the fight. Tucson
Yeah, you
will
might do
fall as
it.
well. They get 4 kills. It's just Spirit left alive.
But he's only going one
He's
way.
on the hunt, goes, jumps on the Teddy, takes him out completely. It looks like he'll be able to get away with his life on top of it all.
And if I learned anything...
Flashes over, goes for Snowflower, finishes him off, the double kill coming in for Spirit. Can he finish off Kuzan? The GA is there. He needs to hightail it out of here. The Super Creeps are still knocking down the Nexus turrets. Can he do anything?
we watch the
I
ads,
don't want to see
please?
him scratch his nose. Show me the fight. Talia gets the kill, and Jin Air, they hold on yet again. We're gonna break the record, I think.
Even the OGN observers are losing their minds, Achilleos. Late game Rengar, that's why you don't leave it up. Rengar was left
dear,
up.
oh dear.
If you're joining this game late, don't worry about it. You didn't miss anything.
He didn't miss anything at all. So good by Umti.
This was fantastic from Umti. If you take it to the late game dream, level 18 everywhere, one fight can do it. This was so close to being that one fight. Really well done by Rengar. When he popped ult, I thought, okay, running straight to the base, gonna try and backdoor the inhibitor. That's fine, but he gets vision on Teddy. Once again, Teddy doesn't have any way to get out. The first kill comes out, you're like, okay, that's cute, you're gonna die eventually. Flashes back into the brush to get the leap reset. That was a world where he cleaned up everyone there, Achilleos. The noble tiger has finally been felled.
We see, I think he's a lion, isn't he?
Were-tiger, I think.
Okay, whatever.
He's a
Cat,
Rengar.
big cat.
Were-cat, that's probably fair.
Were-cat.
He'll be alive one day, and then he'll probably go invisible.
If he's always invisible, is he really alive?
These are questions. I mean, I never see Rengar
It's
because he's banned or invisible.
It's like Schrodinger's Rengar, really.
You mean Schrodinger's cat?
Well, yeah, but it's like that. Yeah, that's why I'm saying because Rengar is a cat.
Sure, I get it. It's good. Martin's been level 18 for perhaps the whole game. He had level 18 at 31 minutes. It's now going to be double time of being level 18. Again, where are the buybacks to let these games actually go forever? Ash Arrow?
I don't know. Oh, well, fine, Zixu. Not what we wanted. Not what Afreeca wanted.
All right, Spirit, can you find the Varus? He's like, where is the Varus? This is definitely the buddy system. Put 3 people in front of the Varus. No more getting vision on the Varus, please. They need a scrying orb to find Varus.
Just handcuff Ixu to Teddy.
I mean, are you looking forward to the Warwick Q where you can hold on to your enemy? That's going to be fun.
It's going to be lovely. But here we are, 61 minutes. 5 minutes, I believe, away from that record.
So let's have a look. 6.8. They have about 20K in the bank.
Oh, God. Well, they cut off Spirit.
Don't worry, didn't write it. But this could actually be big
He
news.
doesn't have an
Flash on
ultimate.
Spirit.
Yeah.
He's going to die.
Yeah, it looks like he might
Or
just go
is
down. The redemption coming through. Is it enough? The heal
It
comes
is.
in, pops him back up to half HP. Oh, and he, no one dies.
What was it? 67 minutes this season?
67 or 66, yeah. We're gonna break it unless
Good.
something drastic happens here.
Good. This is actually
There we
been a
go.
fun
There we
game.
go. 67,
Thanks.
35.
Oh,
Dreadslide
maybe this is the
connects
time.
on to Kuro. He gets pumped up.
He's
He
dead.
gets deleted. Umpty comes up with a kill. The rest of Afreeca have to run for the hills.
They go Marin.
Big seismic shove on Marin. He makes it into the zone. He's in time, but it looks like he still might go down, and he does. Umpty coming up with a double kill. Teddy, he's still alive on the backside, firing off on his Spirit.
think
He
Janae
goes
might
down.
win.
A triple kill for Umpty. Can he make it a quadra? Looks like the answer is yes. And with that ace, Jin Air Green Wings, they're gonna go. They're gonna knock down the Nexus, and they're gonna win game 1 of this best-of-3 series.
Jin Air's smiling. They always do this, Achilles, but they always lose. They're actually going to win this game.
What the hell just happened, Jin Air? They played to their strengths. They took it beyond an hour. We won't break the record yet, but there's still another game, maybe even 2 more for that to happen, Papa Smithy.
Jin Air needs to continue down this trend, straight to madness, extend every game. Why play early games when you can just do this in the late game? Smart team fighting from them, even with the rookies. There's so much experience on the Afreeca lineup, it counts for nothing. Kuro is caught, Kuro is dead, so are the hosts for Afreeca, and now, man, to be a fly on the booth of Afreeca Freecs, there's a lot of personalities and egos out there. They're going to have to calm themselves down in about 8 to 10 minutes, take the rift again. And Jin Air, it's just another day at the office.
Oh yeah, they're used to this, and this is the strategy. Just exhaust your enemy as much as
Marin
possible.
just looks pissed off. Let's be real here. He's like, all right, guys.
Gotta be frustrated. He's got a smile on his face now, so it looks like he's able to have a laugh over it, but that's how I feel, Kuro.
Oh, boy. The most Jin Air game in a while, and we've had a 1 hour, 7 minute one.
That was very Jin Air, but they're able to close out game 1.
Why were you trying to play the early game? Longer. That's what he's saying out there. I know what the coach is doing.
Just, if you see a champion in the first 30 minutes of the game, you're playing badly. Nothing but CS.
Jin Air Green Wings. League of Legends, huh?
League of Legends indeed, Papa Smithy. Well, again, that is game 1 of a best-of-3, so Jin Air very well could take us the whole 9 yards into 3 games if Afreeca are able to win this next one.
What a story it would be if after 30 minutes of that game, we still fly the Glad Plane tonight. The Glad Plane is at half-mast, Achilles. It's ready to be raised.
Be absolutely insane. We'll see if they're able to get it, or if the Glad Plane will get shot down yet again, as it has 3 times already this season. They want it to take off. We'll see if they're able to do so. We're going to go to a much-needed break. When we come back, we'll have game 2.